Today I wanted to share some tools and resources that I use pretty often as an animator. Let's start right here on YouTube with Endless Reference. Endless Reference is a YouTube channel with heaps of reference videos made specifically for animators. The focus is mainly on fighting and walking actions, so punches, kicks, jumps, rolls, and heaps of different walks. Clicking into one of the videos, you'll see that they've got a front angle and a side angle, plus the frame number here, and having a grid on top is pretty helpful. At the time of recording, I think they've got more than 70 videos on their channel, but all with humans. When I'm looking instead for animal references, I like referring to this book by Edward Muybridge, who's an old English bookseller guy who moved to America, got into an accident, hit his head really hard, and then decided, I'm going to become a photographer and take hundreds and thousands of photos of animals running. Which is super helpful for animators because he's essentially taken frames of an animal's walk cycle and put it all into this great book known as Animals in Motion. And the great thing is that this book was published more than 100 years ago, which means it's now copyright free, which then means you can go online, read it, download it for free, legally, I think. I hope. I'm not a lawyer. I'll show you some of the photos in his book. I want to show you a horse one because I like the horse pictures, and that's actually what he's famous for. He took heaps and heaps of photos of horses. Ooh, let's take a look at this one. This one looks interesting. That's not a horse, that's a donkey. But you can see how this would be super useful as reference. This is not a donkey running, but it's a donkey bucking and kicking. There's the anticipation right here. His feet are all off the ground over here. That's really interesting to me because he does a little jump before the big kick. I wouldn't have expected that. I thought he would put his front feet down first before kicking out for more power, but that's why stuff like this is useful. I found this book on the Smithsonian Public Library. I'll leave a link to that in the description and check it out, do your own research. Try not to go to jail. For now, let's move on to the next thing on our list, which is Sakuga Boru. Sakuga Boru is an online community dedicated to finding and worshipping the best animated sequences from anime. Now, searching the website can feel a little bit unintuitive, but a good way to start is to search for the type of animation you want to see, followed by some weird words. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to type in effects, followed by order score. And what order score does is it puts the highest rated results right at the top. And you really want to sort it because there can be hundreds of thousands of results. Like look down here at the bottom, there's 3,045 pages. But because we've put order score in, it's now showing us the highest rated clips right at the top. I have no idea what this is going to be. Oh, of course it's Mob Psycho. If you haven't already watched Mob Psycho, they've got some of the best animated effects. I can see some specific cases where I would want to look at bits of this as reference, but I think so many people miss out on all the great animation you can find on this website because the process of finding the animation is just not that easy. It's kind of confusing trying to look for stuff. Look what happens if I just type in something that seems normal, like sword fight. Nothing comes up. Let me know in the comments if you want to see an entire video on how to actually use this website. Let's finish off this video quickly with a couple apps. Audacity is an open source audio software that I use pretty often to make my audio sound better or cut things up, but mostly to convert audio files into different audio formats so that I can import it into animation software. Because animation software like Adobe Animate or TV Paint, they usually have very specific file formats that they will accept. Another free app on my list is Handbrake. Handbrake is basically the video version of Audacity. And what I usually use this for is to convert between video files. Mainly because I want to make files smaller. For example, if I'm exporting a video .mov from Adobe Animate, it might come out at 1.5 gigabytes, which is pretty large if you're trying to send it to someone else via the internet. Handbrake lets me compress that and turn it into a 150 megabyte .mp4, which is a lot easier to send and a lot easier for that person to receive as well. Okay, some of the things on this list are reference materials, and I thought it'd be worth saying that using reference is okay. When I was a beginner animator, I kind of felt like looking at reference was bad or that I was cheating in some way. But now that I've worked in the industry for a couple of years, I know that that's just simply not true. Literally everybody around me uses reference. The director uses reference. The storyboard artist uses reference. All the other animators use reference. And that's because using reference helps us to work faster, work smarter, and at the same time, it helps us to improve as artists because we are putting more things into our head by using reference instead of just relying on what we already know. And in the long run, that's really helpful. The only time I would say using reference is bad is if you're just mindlessly copying it. So maybe what I'm trying to say is use reference, just be mindful how you're using it because it can be really good and it can also be a crutch. I think this is a good time to end the video. Mainly because my mouth is getting dry and I don't have water. Okay, so obviously this isn't an extensive list, but it includes things that I find really helpful and hopefully you guys find it helpful as well. Let me know in the comments which ones you think you might find useful for your animation, and if there's something you use that's free that I didn't mention, leave it in the comments too so the other animators here can see it. As always, thank you for watching and goodbye.